President Trump yesterday explaining that Attorney General Pam Bondi sent Tulsi Gabbard to Fulton County, Georgia last week for the FBI's raid of an election office.
Okay, that's one take on it.
But on Wednesday, he told NBC News he didn't know why the director of national intelligence was there. The shifting stories.
That's true. There are about 4, 5, 6.
There are several
different stories on why she was actually there. Look at this. I'm seriously? Are you guys kidding me? Tulsi Gabbard down in Georgia seizing voting. Are you really? Are you this stupid?
Picking up the phone.
Are you this stupid that you think you're going to get away with it? Are you this stupid? Why are you so stupid? Why do you do things that hurt Republican candidates in the state of Georgia, hurt Republican candidates across the country, and are always overturned by judges? I've got to say, and you know, Allie's last story was about the president saying, okay, well, we'll give you that funding. We'll restart the funding for desperately needed transportation between New Jersey and New York to help people on both sides of the Hudson be able to commute better. If you rename Dulles Airport and Penn Station, I mean, and seriously, who would want their names on either one of those? I mean, why don't you just ask them to rename the New York Jets after you? It's really, I can't imagine it. But again, Jonathan Lemire, the fact is that Donald Trump seizing those funds was one part of Mikey Sherrill winning by like 15 points or 14 points or however many points you won in New Jersey. The Republican candidate was gaining ground. This happened, and then poof, he spent the rest of the campaign talking about that. Now, Jon Ossoff, this is a gift for Jon Ossoff in Georgia. You look at New York State, it's going to be, again, critical for the Democrats taking over the House of Representatives. And here's Donald Trump saying, yeah, I'm going to keep destroying your morning commute, keep you away from your loved ones and your family and your children even longer because you won't rename really two of the worst infrastructure projects in America after me. Again, all of this is so self-defeating, and if you don't believe me, just look at the poll numbers.
Yeah, President Trump telling on himself there, clearly revealing doesn't travel by train very much. Otherwise, he might want to stay clear of having his name splashed on Penn Station.
Exactly.
But you're exactly right. First of all, the Gateway Tunnel, which is what New York and New Jersey officials have wanted for decades, desperately needed link under the Hudson River, helping commuters in both states. And certainly now Governor Sherrill was grateful for that in-kind campaign donation that President Trump made late in that race this last fall, because he took away that funding and in a moment of a fit. And, you know, it was a gift to her because it hurt people in her state. And you're right, though. This is also what Republicans have been saying to me. I wrote about it this week. We've chronicled it a few times now. That President Trump, he's just taking his eye off the ball, they fear. Like, lock in on the economy, lock in on rising prices, like do something about inflation or healthcare costs, whatever it might be, things that voters are likely going to have front of mind this coming November at the midterms. And instead, Trump, first of all, didn't travel this week as his team had promised, these weekly trips to talk about the economy and campaign for Republican officials. But more than that, he seems to really care more about these legacy projects, whether it's the ballroom or the Kennedy Center. He's on a building spree throughout Washington and Willie. This would be the next, the idea that he would suddenly want to have his name on Dulles and Penn Station, and threatening to keep federal funds away unless that happens helps no one.
I mean, in normal times, this is a massive scandal that the president won't allow a state, a municipality to have funds unless you name something after him. And as you say, you might want to pump the brakes or choose something else on Penn Station, though the new Moynihan Hall is very nice. We'll stipulate that.
It's nice.
But guys, back to Georgia for a second, we don't really have to wonder who directed Tulsi Gabbard to go there, because Tulsi Gabbard wrote in a letter to Congress that it was President Trump himself who ordered her to go to Georgia on that FBI raid. And then you'll recall, after the raid, she called the President of the United States, put him on speakerphone so he could celebrate with the FBI agents who conducted the raid. So there is a pattern, Donald Trump doing something, and then when it goes bad or the reaction to it or the polling is bad, say ICE in Minneapolis, for example, he runs from it. And yesterday, as you just showed at the prayer breakfast, said, yeah, that was Pam Bondi who did that, not me.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of the prayer breakfast, there's another extraordinary lost opportunity. Here's something that, I know the people who run it, been a part of it. When I was in Congress, it was a wonderful time, even when Bill Clinton was going through impeachment. I mean, it was we would come together, we would talk, it lessened the tensions. The president, other people would talk about their faith, and it was a good time to come together. Yesterday, you had the president attacking Republicans that voted against him, Thomas Massie especially, attacking Democrats, saying, I don't know why any Christian would vote for Democrats when, in fact, because they oppose me all the time, when in fact, there are a lot of people that actually were raised in the church asking, why would anybody support so many of these Republican policies that run completely counter to Jesus's direct, unambiguous teaching? You got Mike Johnson, like Christ explaining the Bible to the Pope because the Pope dared to actually quote Jesus's words. You could go on, and then, Willie, Donald Trump's coalition, the Republicans' coalition, is not crumbling from the edges. It's crumbling from the center. He's losing the independents. He's losing, of course, Democrats that may have voted for him. He's losing working Americans that voted for him in the past. And everything he's doing is causing that collapse in the center to continue and drive his numbers and Republican numbers down. And, of course, overnight, he put out a Truth Social post that was a racist post depicting the former president of the United States and First Lady as monkeys, as primates, and that's only going to hurt. They're sitting there thinking, oh, we're going to own the libs. Oh, we're going to make the libs mad. No,
they'll be so triggered.
That's not what happens. I mean, at this stage, all you're doing is hurting the Republican Party. All you're doing is hurting your support in the center. All you're doing is making sure Democrats have a great off-year election. All you're doing is making yourself look pathetic, Republicans, for not standing up to this open racism and bigotry. Again, in normal times, would end somebody's political career that day. And every Republican
or any career
in normal times would have come out and attacked this racism and this bigotry. But the thing is, they think Democrats are going to get angry. Now Democrats just look at it, and they're staring at the Republicans going, really? You're not going to say anything about this? Because this doesn't own the libs. This destroys, just all of this stuff destroys Republican support among the very voters they need to win elections.
Yeah, unambiguously racist posts amplified by the President of the United States about a former President of the United States and a former First Lady of the United States. And I think it's safe to say we can predict this well, that Republicans will say either I didn't see the post or sometimes he just retweets or retruths or whatever, and we can't hold him accountable for all the crazy things he does. And that's just the pattern. But he should be held accountable for that. It's disgusting. It's appalling. And people can go look at it for themselves.